Hi guys, Mrs. Travis here again. I am back just to do a little follow-up from our video from last week. So I want to talk about some things that are really important today. I know in your lessons, your advisory lessons so far, you've been talking about different ways to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a very important way to stay in touch with our feelings, with our body, with our reactions. And these are things that help us kind of slow down and calm. So everything that you've been learning in your advisory classes are great tools, okay? We're going to talk a little more about those tools and why we need those tools. So you may have heard me before talk about fight or flight response. So it's called the fight, flight, or freeze response, actually. And what happens is it's kind of our body's response to danger, okay? And so I'm going to kind of talk about how our brain works, okay? So we're going to act like my hand right here. This is our brain, okay? This is our brain. Now the front, we have the top front of our brain here, okay? Then we have the middle part of our brain, and then we have the stem of our brain, okay? So we're going to think of the top part. This is our cerebral cortex. This is our upstairs brain, okay? The upstairs part of our brain, this is our thinking brain, okay? Logical, reasoning, problem solving, okay? Rational, all right? This is where we come up with good ideas. Very logical, okay? Now, this middle part of our brain, this is where we store emotions and memories, okay? And then down here, our brain stem, this is our downstairs brain, okay? And our downstairs brain, this is where our automatic responses come from in our body, okay? So it could be automatic as in our breathing, all right? But it could also be an automatic emotional or physical response. So let's say you reach out and touch a hot plate or a hot cup, right? We touch it and we automatically pull back, right? Because it hurts, right? It's our body warning us of danger, okay? And so this downstairs part of our brain is very important because it keeps us safe, all right? We may have heard back in the day, right? The caveman, he saw a bear, right? And it was a life or death situation and he had to get away. So automatically he would think, do I have to fight this bear? Am I gonna run away? Sometimes we have a freeze response too. We don't know what to do. We kind of like freeze up, right? Some of you may have experienced this, okay? So our brain works the same way when it comes to our emotions though. So we might have an emotional reaction to something. So maybe we didn't get our way. Maybe somebody said something to us that we didn't like. Maybe something happened that we didn't like. And so what happens is our emotions, they kind of take over and we have this automatic response, right? It's almost like our emotions get too big and it's called flipping our lid, okay? So our emotions here are like, we're in danger. We might not really be in danger, but our brain thinks we're in danger. So when that happens, we flip our lid. Now, this upstairs rational thinking, logical thinking part, problem solving part, it disconnects, okay? So now we are living in our emotional reaction here, okay? We can't problem solve, right? So we flipped our lid and we disconnected. So what we need to do is we have to calm down. We have to calm our emotions down in our downstairs brain so that our upstairs brain will come back and reconnect. And that's the only way they'll connect and they'll talk to each other so that we can problem solve. Okay, this is really important. So it's important because we want to learn to recognize the signs of our body going into fight or flight response. Because when we go fight or flight response, we flip our lid and we can't think clearly, we can't problem solve, all right? Now, this is why practicing mindfulness techniques is really important. We want to get in tune with our body, with our feelings, with how we feel, right? Physically in our body. So what we want to do is we want to start to notice, what are the signs of me getting ready to flip my lid, right? Maybe my heart is beating really fast. Maybe I'm getting really hot. Maybe I'm clenching my fists, right? Maybe I find myself breathing really heavy. Because again, when our body's going into this automatic response, our body is physically getting ready for a fight, okay? And our body treats it that way, even if there isn't really going to be a fight, all right? So What we have to learn to do is calm down. So if we can feel the signs coming on, we can calm down before we flip our lid. But if we actually do flip our lid, which nobody's perfect and it happens, right? Then we learn to calm down, so we bring it back down, and then we can problem solve whatever situation that we're in, okay? Because that's our goal. We want to learn how to problem solve situations, because we don't want to go through life yelling at our friends, yelling at our parents, doing things that we might regret, right? Or if we turned it around, we wouldn't like someone else to do to us too, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about some of these things that we can do, okay? Coping skills, all right? Coping skills, coping means dealing, right? Skills to deal with problems, okay? Sometimes we have unhealthy coping skills, but we want to find healthy coping skills. We want to find a way to bring our lid back down or to keep it down so that we can stay in our problem solving mode and we don't damage our relationships in the meantime, all right? So during your advisory lessons, you're talking about different mindful activities. And so one in particular that was mentioned at the beginning is breathing, all right? So I am going to talk to you a little bit about breathing. I'm going to teach you a breathing technique. There's many out there, okay? I actually have an app on my phone, and it's called Settle Your Glitter. If you are into phone apps, Settle Your Glitter is actually like a glitter ball, and it shows the glitter. You actually shake your phone and it shows the glitter going up and it settles down. But there's also a fish and it breathes and you breathe with it. There's also one where you smell a flower, right? So you act like your finger's a flower and you breathe in, smell it, and then you blow on it. You know the flowers when they get old, are they dandelions, right? And they're all white and you blow them and you wish on them, right? So that's another one, okay? There's another one that is called smelling the soup. So it's like you act like you have a hot bowl of soup in your hands, okay? And you're blowing on the soup to cool it off. So you go, and then you're smelling it. That smells good. All right, so those are just a few I want to tell you really quick because there's a lot of them out there, okay? But I'm going to teach you one in particular that I love because when I teach it, I'm going to show you there's several different ways you can do it, okay? So the way I teach it to you in private, you could do all of the different things that I do as I show you, but you can also be around people and you don't have to act out or count out the breathing, but you can just do it and know what you're doing inside your head and nobody else knows, okay? So what I want to teach you is called 4 square breathing. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. This is my favorite. Deep breathing, by the way, is one of my favorite things to do because when you're in a moment and you start to feel your lid flipping and you can catch yourself, you just take a few deep breaths, practice your techniques. Nobody knows what you're doing. Help slow your automatic responses down, which means keeping our anger at bay, right? And then we can deal with whatever is in front of us, okay? So 4 squared breathing. So this is what I do. I actually draw a square with my finger, okay? So I'm gonna kind of tell you how I do it and then we're gonna practice it. So I would say for the top of the square, I'm gonna breathe in for 4 counts as I draw the top of my square. Then I'm gonna hold it for 4 counts. So I'm gonna hold it, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm gonna blow out for 4 counts. I'm gonna keep drawing my square. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm gonna hold it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I've made a square, okay? So it's in, hold, out, hold. In, hold, out, hold. All right? I also like to count as I'm doing it because I count 4 in, 4 hold. 4 out, 4 hold, okay? So it's involving counting, which if we start counting numbers, guess what part of the brain it brings us to? Rational thinking brain, which is where we need to be, okay? Also, we're drawing it in the air, okay? It's giving us something else to think about, okay? And then we're also focusing on our breathing. So we're physically calming our body, all right? So let's try it. Everyone, make sure you're seated upright so you can breathe. Your shoulders are back, okay? So we're gonna do this. In, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we're gonna try that one more time. Okay. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna do it again, and I'm not gonna count out loud. Ready? Again. Do it without the square now. In. Hold. Out. Hold. Do it again. In. Hold. Out. Hold. Okay, so I just took you through the different ways to do it. Okay, you can do it with drawing the square and counting in your head. It's easier to count in your head and breathe. Okay, you can do it as just doing the square and breathing without counting, or you can just breathe and count. Okay, so that's a really effective breathing technique. I want you to try it and try it again. Okay, you can go back and watch this video if that helps you, or maybe you'll just remember it because it's pretty simple. Okay, if we practice these skills when we are not in fight or flight mode or flipping our lid, then guess what? We're gonna have a better chance of remembering it when we have flipped our lid or when we're about to flip our lid. Okay, and so practice it when you're not upset. So when you are upset, you'll think, oh yeah, that breathing technique, let me try that, okay? It doesn't help to try to practice something when you're in fight or flight, because guess what? When you're in fight or flight mode, we're not in thinking mode, we're disconnected, right? So practice, practice, practice. And then when it comes time, then most likely you'll remember to do the breathing technique. Okay, I hope that this has helped you. And again, please send me any questions that you have. Fill out the counselor form if you would like to talk to me one-on-one. I am always here for you. That's my job. I'm here to help you. Okay, all right, Wildcats, have a great week.